The man was sealed in ice by the Demon King 100,000 years. 100,000 years without eating, drinking, or going to the toilet. Until the last chain breaks. The ice cubes on his body completely collapsed. But there are no stars in his eyes at the moment. Instead, full of sadness. He plopped. He suddenly fell to his knees. Because he's not far ahead. Saw the body of his companion. These used to be his best friends. Especially Fatty Blue. He obviously only has one arm left. But he still held the shield tightly. The man wants to open his mouth to vent his anger. But found himself sealed for tens of thousands of years. The throat has long since lost its voice. Can't make a sound at all. Leaving 3 flowers can add 10 years to your lifespan. Likes can be added for an additional 5 years. He slowly picked up his companion's clothes and began to cry. His mind went blank at the moment. And all of a sudden I felt a tremendous amount of grief. Reminds him of a long-forgotten past. He came to the opinion 3 years ago due to a car accident. Unfamiliar in another world. He was desperate. So he would always cry silently in the middle of the night. Fortunately, he met a group in another world. Like-minded friends. Offer him comfort when he is sad. With the encouragement of a partner. He began to struggle to adapt to life in another world. Desperately fighting on the battlefield. Because he cherishes and partners very much. The days of shoulder fighting. With the unremitting efforts of everyone. Jean is in the 3rd year of his arrival in another world. Successfully killed the Demon King. With the fall of the devil. Akin's journey to another world is finally over. He slowly stood up. Gently pushed open the door to another world. When he is ready with joy. Welcome and defeat the devil. The triumphant return of a new life. Unexpectedly, reality taught him a lesson. Because everything changed when I got home. Mother to find him. Sell all your property and post a missing person notice. He was killed in a car accident on the road. Father is silent. In the grief of not being able to protect my family. In the end, he chose to take his own life. Jin Minju watched her parents cry bitterly. He hated the injustice of fate. He obviously saved the world. But the reward for a triumphant return is the loss of both parents. Jin Minju came to school in despair. He thought he had suffered such a change. There's a little bit of comfort in school. First day of admission. He was greeted with a notice of expulsion. It struck him like lightning. The whole person is honest on the spot. He walks around the campus like a criminal. See your old best friend. His originally bleak eyes reappeared. A glimmer of hope. Unexpectedly, in exchange for the indifference and disgust of friends. He left school disappointed. Walking down the street alone. His life. His cheeks suddenly. He got slapped in the face. And the man who beat him was the uncle he hadn't seen for a long time. It's all because your unfilial son is running away from home. This is what killed my sister. He sacrificed his sister's death. It's all on Kim Mingju. Cornered Akin ended up on the streets. After not eating for a day, he is a little hungry at the moment. He slowly sat up. Rummaged through his pockets. I found that I couldn't even buy a loaf of bread with my money. At this moment he is completely desperate. He has no family now. No education. Even. He has no identity in society. Living like a street rat. How he wished it were a dream. He obviously saved the world. Saved countless lives. Return in triumph. But I don't even have a decent identity. He doesn't understand. Why did the world abandon him so ruthlessly? Just when he was sad. He ran head-on into a burly man. Big guy sees each other in school uniform. Your face turned gloomy in an instant, you are fucking courting death. Why are you standing in the middle of the road? Do you think your life is too long and you don't want to live anymore? The big guy kept verbally humiliating Akin. Unexpectedly, Akin's next words. But the strong man's pupils refused. Why are you smiling so happily? Shouldn't you be sad? The strong man was stunned in place for a moment after listening. What's the matter with this little brat? Are you provoking me? Then the big man grabbed Ah Jin's hair. He roared viciously. What are you little brat talking about there? Believe it or not, I'll tear your mouth apart. Ah Jin didn't pay attention to the strong man. He kept yelling in his mouth. Hear my call. The girl with the concession knife saw this scene. Laughing from the side. This kid is a middle school patient, right? So the lines of the second child can also be said. Unexpectedly, the next moment. A flying sword suddenly fell from the sky. Penetrated into the strong man's body. The girl saw blood all over her hands. The laughter stopped abruptly. Scream out loud. Ah Jin gently wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes with his hands. If I am the only one in the world who is sad. That's just so unfair. As a hero who once saved the world. Obviously, the one who shouldn't be sad the most should be himself. But now I'm not even as good as a dog. Then Jin Minju picked up the concession knife on the ground. Looking at the world again with cold eyes. Since I am the only one sad in this world. So just destroy this cruel world. Then Jin Minju raised the concession knife. Rotating around the body. The terrifying blade corrodes the surrounding air. In the next moment, an energy that destroys the sky and the earth. With Jin Minju as the center. Sweeping around. This energy quickly swept through the city. In the blink of an eye. The entire city of A was razed to the ground by Jin Minju. The city was completely wiped off the map. 1 year later. Jin Minju has successively transferred several surrounding cities. Occupy all. Now no one can shake his position. In the process of annexing the city. He will also share some similar experiences with him. The income of warriors who are not accepted by this world. President of each country. Learn. Several cities have been occupied by the Golden Pearl. The device's face turned green. If this continues, the whole country will be doomed. Looks like I still have to let that guy do it. Random. He immediately ordered his subordinates to ask the frozen warriors to come out of the mountain. This is currently the most powerful thing the Chu government can mobilize. Secret weapon. Ah Jin looked at the old man in front of him suspiciously. Ask him if he is a warrior like himself. The old man let out a long sigh. If not a warrior. Excuse me. Which human would dare to stand in front of a monster like you? Akin is learning that the other party is the same as himself. Also a warrior queen. Immediately assume a fighting stance. Prepare for a fierce battle with the other party. The old man waved his hand before the war. I want to know one thing. What made you risk your life? Also push this event into the fire pit. What is it for? Akin held the concession knife tightly in his hand. In the face of the old man's inquiry, he fell into deep thought. But the movement in his hand did not stop. I don't know what I want. I just want the world to. Just as painful as me. The plane waved the concession knife towards the old man. The old man learned that the other party was incurable. Decided not to advise anymore. After all, evil people do evil. How could there be a legitimate reason? Facing the blade that came towards him. He sticks out his tongue slowly. The next moment, an incomparably terrifying explosion. It exploded around the old man. Jin Minju stared at the other party without blinking. As the smoke dissipates, the old man stood there safe and sound. This is the strongest defense skill of the frozen warriors, frozen Madra. Is your trick to summon beasts? I hate magicians the most. Humph boy, don't be happy too early, the game has just begun. Frozen warriors move around. He took a long breath, pushed air into the abdomen, converted into energy and spit it out again. This is his proudest trick, 10,000 years of frost. The environment started to freeze due to the cold. Frost. Kim's body began to freeze. Boy, your strength is good. If it is an ordinary person who has suffered from my 10,000 years of frost, absolutely instant death. But you haven't changed a single look in your eyes. But you have been wrapped in my cold. I guess there is no way to exercise power. Because Jin Minju was hurt by the cold, it caused him to use most of his energy to repair the body hurt by the cold. The next moment, the old man summoned Xian Ming and returned, using the turtle shell as a weapon and smashed it at Ah Jin. Jin Minju was injured by the cold, the body is a little stiff. When he looked up and saw the attack, it's too late. The next moment, the turtle shell smashed heavily towards his cheek. Jin Minju was heavily smashed to the ground. He wants to get back on his feet, but found that his hand had already been firmly frozen by the ice cube. You can't move. The old man saw this scene, showing a series of smiles, but he didn't slow down. Then he stuck out his tongue again, summoned a 5-meter-long giant male. The giant male threw his huge palm at Ah Jin. Jin Minju was beaten with 7 orifices bleeding. The giant male was very excited to see this scene, keep accelerating the attack on Akin. If an ordinary opponent is beaten to this extent, the old man will confirm the life and death of the other party. But the old man knows Jin Minju is not that simple. So he stuck out his tongue again, summoned a flock of seagulls. These seagulls are as reckless as death, fly towards Akin. Seagulls continue to eat the body of the sensitive pig. After eating for a while, their stomach suddenly bulge, then it bursts around the sensitive pig. Just as the bear was about to give him his final blow, Ah Jin's frozen hands suddenly shook. The next moment, a flying sword shot straight into the sky, split the giant's body in two. Then Jin Minju stood up again, looking straight at the frozen warrior. The old man let out a long sigh. As expected of a sword warrior, after suffering so many attacks from me, it can still resist. Ah Jin patted his body covered in ice and snow. Disappear all the guys who get in the way. The old man faced the blade cut by Jin Minju, did not hide. He's standing still. Next moment, the body of the frozen warrior was cut in two by Kim Minju. Kim Minju looks at the body of the frozen warrior, and he let out a big sigh. Fortunately, he had experienced fighting magicians before. Magicians are good at controlling long-range magic to fight. Because of the advantage of hand length, under normal circumstances, you can't get in at all. Fortunately, Akin used his tough defense, will expose yourself directly to the deadly attack of the enemy. When the other party mistakenly thinks they have the upper hand, when you let down your guard, point out the thunderbolt, split each other's body in two. Same trick, Akin once again used the frozen warrior. And he didn't know why. I feel like there's always a bad premonition. I seem to have missed something. He thinks it shouldn't be living for more than 100 years, the strength a warrior should have. Suddenly he seemed to have discovered something, instantaneous pupil dilation. He clearly cut the neck of the frozen warrior, why is there no blood around the neck? But by the time he realized something was wrong, it was too late. The old man suddenly rushed out of his body, swinging a long sword towards the body of the golden collar bead. Akin under this fierce offensive, and he sort of steps back. As the battle intensified, Akin couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Your sword. Warriors are very obsessed with each other's necks. Then I'll let you try it today, the taste of being wiped off your neck. Jin Minju saw that the other party came for her own life, immediately raised the concession knife in your hand towards the neck of the frozen warrior. The old man sees this, immediately stick out your tongue and summon an octopus. The octopus uses his huge tentacles, take it towards Jin Minju. Akin was hit by the huge impact of the octopus, Pat flew out. He struggled to hold up the ground with both hands. He felt a chill coming from his heart, tide spreads all over his body. If the battle cannot be ended quickly, he felt like he would be frozen alive, die in the cold. The old man saw that Ah Jin fell into a disadvantage, showing a series of smiles. Then he slowly sticks out his tongue, summon a 9-meter-long great white shark. Akin swings the concession knife, split the body of the great white shark in half. Although his fighting posture is handsome, but trembling hands, but I couldn't escape the old man's speech. The old man concluded Jin Minju's body has been eroded by the cold. He didn't give Akin a chance to breathe, stick out your tongue again and summon 2 wolf kings. Absorb in the direction of Jin Minju. The previous generation of sword warriors only persisted so far. I wonder what will happen to this guy. Facing the attack of the 2 wolf kings, Akin kept hiding back, flash as the blood vessels in your hands continue to turn black. He realized that his body was dying. Less than 30 seconds, his body will lose all function. When it comes to life and death, he decided to stop hiding his strength. Split the concession knife in two, kill the two wolf kings on the spot with an extremely fast method. The old man touched his beard with relief. Looks like this guy is better than the previous generation of health warriors. It gets better. But no matter how powerful, it won't be long before his body freezes. Then I'll play with you until then. Then the old man stuck out his tongue again, summoned soldiers with a will of steel. Instead, they chopped vegetables, divided into two by Jin Minju. Facing countless soldiers with knives, Jin Minju can still cope. Countless legions of soldiers, just the beginning of the old man's attack. Soon the old man launched a second round of attack. He summoned countless giant hands, pressed Jin Minju to the ground. Jin spent 9 bulls and 2 tigers, escaped from countless hands. Don't wait for a kin to catch his breath, the old man launched the third round of attack. This time he summoned the sword of the previous generation warrior. The two generations of sword warriors collided fiercely. In the end, Jin was defeated because of the cold poison in his body. He wants to get back on his feet, but found his right hand was already broken in the previous battle. Plop. No hand support, Jin collapsed heavily. He was gasping for air. He felt like he was talking to the frozen warriors. The next one is already known. Winning and losing chess, he is like a fish on a knife to be slaughtered. But a kin has no intention of bowing to fate. Facing a mortal situation, even if he tried his best, he would never admit defeat. Then he bit the knife with his mouth. Since the right hand is broken, then he uses his mouth as a second hand. He wants more people to feel it, desperate to save the world, the despair of returning home with nothing. Only kill, to vent the anger and sadness in his heart. But this old man in front of me. But to stand against him. Stop him from venting his anger and sadness. No matter what, as long as a kin doesn't die in this battle, he won't fall. Just as Kim Minju was immersed in the crazy carnage, the old man suddenly appeared like a ghost behind him and gave him absolute zero. The next moment, Kim's body began to freeze rapidly. In the blink of an eye, the body was completely sealed by ice cubes. The old man let out a long sigh. Although he is old and about to die, fortunately at the last moment of his life, he prevented a war. Just as the old man thought everything was finally over, suddenly there was a violent explosion on the ground. After the smoke cleared, a few brave men he didn't know appeared out of thin air. They saw a kin sealed by ice cubes and exclaimed. Although he did not know the identities of these brave men in front of him, he judged by their nervous expressions that they were with Kim Minju. Jin saw his old friend come to him, his eyes widened in an instant. He wanted to let them go, but it turned out he couldn't move, couldn't make a sound. In order to rescue Kim Minju from the ice cube, the fire elf immediately unleashed fire magic. Powerful flames rushed towards Jin Minju, but they stopped abruptly in front of the ice cube, unable to melt even a bit. The critical situation was not good. He activated Peeping Eye immediately. It turned out that it was not just ice that sealed Minju, but also countless ancient seal priests. He asked the fire elf to support the other companions. He needed enough time to lift the seal on Jin Minju. The old man, in the previous battle with Jin Minju, had consumed most of his magic and could not deal with everyone besieging today. But as a frozen warrior who had lived for over 100 years, he did not want to watch the world be destroyed. So even if he was exhausted, he would also risk his life to protect this world. The old man drained the last of his strength and summoned seagulls to attack. The white-haired man faced this strange trick, a little overwhelmed. Fortunately, at this critical juncture, Fatty Blue appeared in time with a shield and blocked all the attacks of the frozen warrior. The crowd didn't give the old man a chance to catch his breath and immediately launched a second attack on him. The bow girl took the bow and shot it into the air, making a breaking sound. Random saber teeth centered on the frozen warrior and unfolded the spiritual realm. With the girl's call, countless dense saber teeth rained down on the elderly like raindrops. The old man froze in place when he saw this, but he didn't sit still. He slowly stuck out his tongue and summoned a huge mysterious tortoise. With the hard shell of the giant tortoise, he protected himself against external harm. Facing the crazy attack of the girls, after a long silence, the old man finally got a plan. Taking advantage of the opponent's remote teammates who could not support, he decided to get rid of one first. Unexpectedly, the next moment, the old man's eyes widened in an instant because the white-haired man had been lying in ambush for a long time, aiming for his life. The old man's body was heavily smashed to the ground. Now he was at the end of a powerful demon, with no more resistance. Just as the white-haired man was about to give him his final blow, his hands suddenly stopped in mid-air, unable to move anymore. The pupils of the white-haired man instantly dilated. He did not understand why his body suddenly couldn't move. As he mused, suddenly, footsteps could be heard beside him. A masked girl fell from the sky. The girl came slowly next to the frozen warrior. The old man slowly opened his eyes and recognized the identity of the girl. This person was the Muse Snow Witch of the frozen world. The girl gently stroked the frozen warrior's forehead. Unexpectedly, the last frozen warrior was now about to fall. "Pardon me. You said I was the last frozen warrior?" "Yes. This generation of frozen warriors lost to the Demon King. After you die, there will be no more frozen warriors in this world." The old man was so angry that he spit out a large mouthful of blood. "Although you are about to die, I see it in your eyes, I saw the longing for life. Do you have any unfinished business? Tell me and I'll make it happen for you. I want to have the ability, the power to safeguard this world. Please grant me the strength. Do you want to gain the power to kill that group of people? So what are you going to exchange with me?" The old man let out a long sigh. "I can give you anything you want, whether it is longevity, soul or dignity. As long as I can protect the world, I'm willing to pay whatever it takes." The girl gently stroked the frozen warrior's forehead. "Don't worry. I want neither your life nor your soul. If I have to take something from you, then please give me your memory. Send me your glorious history." The old man gave a long sigh. "Take it. I never aspired to be a warrior anyway. I exist for only one purpose, that is to protect the world, let humanity have a peaceful and beautiful world." The girl's eyes were soaked with tears after listening. "Even if you have gray hair, the wrinkles are still there. For the sake of humanity, you are the best warrior I have ever seen. I will definitely do my best to satisfy your wishes." Then the girl put all the magic on her body and passed it to the frozen warrior. Then she turned into a shadow of blood, her body fading away. After the sacrifice of the blood-fat witch, the old man's injured body was being repaired at a speed visible to the naked eye. The white-haired man saw this scene and realized the situation was not good. He immediately rushed towards the frozen warrior. He must kill the warrior before he fully mastered the new power, otherwise it would be troublesome. But he was too late. Because the frozen warrior at this moment had pushed the limits of humanity and became the new devil. Fatty Lon broke out in a cold sweat after seeing it. "That's impossible. This aura has exceeded the limit of human beings. This is not the strength that humans should have." The white-haired man sighed. He is no longer a warrior. He completely blackened and became the new devil in this world. The white-haired man asked the blue fat man to leave quickly, or they would all die there. Fatty Lon shook his head stubbornly. Without Ji Minju's help, he would have died long ago. From the moment he got here, he never thought about going back alive. Even if he died, as long as it could delay the thawing of a kin, he was willing. The white-haired man saw that the fat man thought the same as himself and decided not to dissuade him. Then he gathered all his magic power in his hands and swung countless fists towards the frozen warrior. At this moment, he finally realized why Ji Minju could become such a fast-growing fate, because he had someone he wanted to protect. He could do it himself. In order to protect these partners behind him, he must win this battle. Pity, it was all just a dying fantasy. The old man just waved his hand lightly and summoned a dragon. The dragon opened a big mouth and swallowed the white-haired man. Fatty Lon froze in place after seeing it, but he didn't have time to grieve, because he was the strongest backing in their team. Once he fell. Then it's all over. Xinguan was moved by what Fatty Lon had done. Speed up the casting speed by overdrawing the soul. Fatty Blue raised his shield high, protected in front of everyone. As the dragon ahead gets closer, Fatty Blue decides to give it a go. Next moment, a steel wall 5 meters behind appeared on the ground. This is Fatty Blue at the cost of overdrawing his soul, cast steel fence to defeat the devil. The archer decides to fly into the air with the elf, occupy the air fist. As the spells continue to recite, his body began to fade away until it takes the form of a dragon. Archers leap into the air, ride an elf dragon and become a dragon knight. He will use all his strength, all gathered in the bow and arrow. He thought he could hold on until the moment the golden pearl thawed. In the end, he still underestimated becoming the Devil Queen, freeze the strength of the warrior. The frozen warrior came to him in a flash, twist your finger lightly, his neck was directly twisted and he received the lunchbox. The elven dragon was bitten alive by the dragon on the side. The worst among them is Fatty Blue. The body was cut into pieces, dead without a corpse. But even so, he was still clutching the shield. Xingguan watched his companions around him suffer one after another, dead eyes shed tears of despair. But he didn't slow down. Instead, he began to frantically extract his own soul, pushed to cast spells. The old man frowned when he saw this scene. So touching. I'm about to die, but still thinking of others. Then he waved his finger, summoned the dragon again, fly in the direction of Xingguan. Xingguan sighed in despair, then he waved the divine palm in his hand, gather all your souls in the gods. With the fall of the gods, a steady stream of magic is injected into Jin Minju's body. Kim, did you know? Before you came to another world, what I hate the most is the brave. Because of Xingguan, from childhood, was given the mission to sacrifice unconditionally for the warriors. He must give his pure life and soul, dedicated to those brave enough to save the world. And he was initially resistant to this oppression. He just wants to be like a normal kid, live an ordinary life. I don't want to sacrifice everything for the brave. As a result, he was severely slapped by the Pope. The girl covered her stinging face and was very aggrieved. The Pope stared at the girl viciously. You have no choice in this matter, because it's about the lives 100 million people in the world. The mother gently caressed the girl's shoulder with her hand. Don't talk nonsense. If you insist on refusing, they will only kill you, then continue to entrust the next selected child. So you must obey the arrangement, this is your only way out. The girl was left with tears of pain after listening. After a long ideological struggle, in the end, he decided to follow the arrangement unconditionally, become a priest. The greatest role of a priest is to appease the homesickness of the brave in another world, let them settle down in another world. Sometimes you even have to sacrifice your body, do something you don't want to do. Through false love, let the brave forget about going home, let the brave be reluctant to part with the other world. Therefore, before Jin Minju came into this world, he never believed in so-called love. He's like a cash puppet, eat foods you don't like, learn what you don't want to learn. You can only eat water droplets every day, doing boring things over and over again, forced to understand a life of obedience to fate. So he hates the brave. If there is no brave man to come to another world to challenge the Devil King, he wouldn't have to suffer. Until the arrival of Jin Minju, it made him change his mind about the brave. Although Jin Minju has just come to the other world, wash your face with tears every day, but he was not attracted by his own beauty. He describes himself as a man of principle, don't force others to do anything they don't want to do. Said he was his friend. If in danger, he must be the first to come forward. After hearing the crown, the corners of his mouth rose, it was the first time he smiled. Prolonged beatings and tolerance, he was gasping for breath. Kim Minju is like the dawn in the darkness, redeeming his life and soul. After, Kim Minju challenges the Demon King like other brave men. Although he cannot defeat the devil, you will be defeated by the devil every time. Fortunately, there is spiritual treatment, so that every time he is injured, can be resurrected with full blood in a short time. This kind of thing. After repeating it thousands of times, Jin Minju finally defeated the Demon King. And Xingguan also fell in love with him unknowingly at this time, fall in love with this sunshine, the boy who brought hope to his world. But now his loved one is in danger. No matter what, Xingguan will not ignore it. You saved me before, I'll save you this time. With the continuous injection of divine energy, the last chain also broke, the ice cubes on Jin Minju's body began to melt. He hasn't had time to catch up with Xingguan yet, freeze the skeleton army summoned by the warriors. He has already arrived in front of Xingguan, on the verge of death. Xingguan Xiang Jin Minju slowly spit out 3 words I love you. After, it was eaten as food by the skeleton legion, into pieces of debris falling into the snow. Jin Minju looked at the wreckage of Xingguan, shed tears of despair. He wanted to vent his anger, can't make a sound. He picked up the torn clothes and cried. Frozen warriors see this scene, with a playful smile. Next moment, Jin Minju let out a heart-wrenching roar, eyes full of blood red. He began to regret his decision. He only wanted to protect the people he wanted to protect. If the companions who go to harm die one after another, it was he who led his companions into the abyss. He let out a desperate growl. How he wished it were a dream. How could there be so many tragic things? It's happening to one person at the same time. But soon Kim Minju realized the truth. Everything that happened to him, everything is true. At the moment he is very irritable. It seems that the magma that is about to erupt at any time. The old man doesn't want to accompany the boy to continue playing, so he concentrated all his magic in the palm of his hand. With the waving of the frozen warrior's fingers, no data skeleton sucks towards the golden collar bead. But Akin stood there motionless, staring at it all with lost eyes. Pretty soon, the skeleton legion arrived in front of Jin Minju, started to eat his body, ripping at his arm. Eat him like food and keep biting. Even the wave retreating knife on the side, the hum of being gnawed, just be the last piece of meat on Jin Minju's body. After being eaten and brought in, he gave a delicate smile. All the unwillingness and grievances transform into a steady stream of energy, nourishing his body. He slowly sat up, eyes full of endless darkness. Then he shouted to the sky, "Hear my call." Retreating wave knife at the moment, a concession knife crushed by a skeleton, clicking on the ground. From time to time, the sound of a broken window. Moment, as part of Kim Min-ju's body, he was constantly repairing his body. With the perfect fusion of Jin Minju and wave retreat knife, a new devil is born. Originally by Jin Minju's side, a dense army of skeletons was reduced to broken blood with a single wave. The old man was very shocked to see this scene. His army of skeletons was wiped out in an instant. The black dragon immediately turned around when it saw this and quickly rushed in the direction of Jin Minju. He opened a bloody fire, wanting to swallow Jin Minju into his stomach. Jin saw this scene not only without fear, instead she revealed a series of smiles. Then he raised his left hand, gently scratched at the dragon. The dragon body area was penetrated by a terrifying energy, split in two, turned into dots of white, and disappeared into the air. The old man widened his eyes in shock. That's impossible. This is a force that is not of this world. The moment the warrior defeats the devil, you must follow the law of stopping growth. It's because I became the devil. Strength is the breakthrough of wisdom. Is this guy just like him, choosing to give up being a warrior and becoming the devil? Jin stood up slowly with a weird smile, unafraid. This is a battle between our two demon kings alone. The old man didn't want to see this peaceful world disappear. The magic in him all gathered in the palm of his hand. With the old man's roar, countless ice threads swept away in sensitivity. Jin waved his left hand when he saw this, cutting the ice one by one. The old man saw this and immediately launched a second attack. Akin stared intently at the old man's every move. Just as he was about to strike back, unexpectedly, the old man suddenly changed his mind in the next moment and threw out the long hair in his hand. Akin didn't have time to react and was penetrated by the long hair in his chest. The magic on the body was visible to the naked eye, quickly depleting. The old man immediately came to him when he saw this and raised the axe. Just as he was about to give the golden collar a fatal blow, his body suddenly froze and couldn't move no matter what. The moment Akin was pierced through his body, he had already thought that the old man would wield power, go up, and give him a fatal blow. The trap was arranged in Zhoushan in advance, waiting for him. Then Jin Minju drained the last trace of strength and launched the Demon King's Lord Death Division, splitting the old man's body in half and killing him on the spot. And Akin was also exhausted due to physical exhaustion, falling into the snow. But he did smile, because the frozen warriors who solved the trouble meant he could finally go on destroying the world again. But now there was a mysterious man laughing at the screen, because he had been waiting for this day for 100,000 years. He committed suicide 2,768 times just to get here. And he was the one who caused Kim Minju to fall, becoming a hero of the devil's history. Li Qingjun, when he was choosing skills, especially worshipped the profession of healer because healers have the ability to regenerate indefinitely. The system, according to his preference, recommended the skill of time ability to him. Having this power made him capable of infinite reincarnation after death. The body would live forever, the soul would never die. However, this skill had a fatal flaw: it could not be killed by the devil. Once killed by the devil, this ability would be invalidated. That is to say, once he was killed by the Demon King, then he would really die. At first, he only wanted to defeat the devil as soon as possible and go home quickly, so he didn't think too much and chose this skill. But little did he know, this skill would develop in the future and cause him huge trouble. After he defeated the devil and returned home, he was like any other warrior, becoming the hero that everyone longed for. People expressed their gratitude to the brave and even built statues dedicated to them. But as the years went by, people slowly forgot the memory of the brave. That's all. Lee Ching-jun returned to a normal life. Kim Min-ju was also with his beloved girlfriend. Under the spotlight, they had a wedding. And Lee Ching-jun also found true love. Their fingers interlocked, very sweet. 1 year later, Lee Ching-jun had his first child in life. He smiled happily at his daughter. 50 years went by in a blink of an eye. He lay dying in front of the hospital bed, listening to the machine countdown to his life sentence. His wife held his hand and said the oath that would never change: "Old man, I like you. If this relationship needs to add a deadline, then I hope it's 10,000 years. Lee Ching-jun nodded lightly, meaning that being with her in this life was his greatest happiness. He hoped to meet again in the next life. After saying that, he slowly closed his eyes. His wife's face began to blur. He thought he should die like this. Unexpectedly, when he opened his eyes again, he found that he had been unexpectedly reborn. And he was reborn to the point where he had just defeated the Demon King, the day he left the other world. He looked at the pedestrians coming and going on the road. He looked at his hands unknowingly and discovered that the strength of his wrinkled hands had become incredibly smooth. Then he immediately took his phone out of his pocket, glanced at the time, and discovered it was 2021. He was gasping for breath with a look of despair. In the beginning, Lee Ching-jun suspected that it was due to medical malpractice or the cause of some kind of illness that caused death. So he decided to live his second life in earnest. To prevent accidents from happening, he carefully ruled out everything that could lead to his own accidental death. Unexpectedly, when he grew old again, he was still reborn after death. Lee Ching-jun unfortunately held a trace of luck, feeling maybe it was because he still had unfulfilled wishes that he was reborn. 3 months later, something happened within the warriors, an unprecedented melee. His former friend died unexpectedly in that war, so he decided to save the lives of the brave. Finally, with the efforts of Lee Ching-jun, he succeeded in transforming the fate of those brave men from accidental death and saved them all. So he went home, prepared for death. Unexpectedly, when he opened his eyes again, he returned to the day he defeated the devil. Whether it was an accidental death or an unfulfilled wish, he had tried to save. It turned out that it was not the reason for his rebirth. Just because of normal old age. After learning the truth, he was close to collapse. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and immediately opened the properties panel to view. Then he looked at the numbers on the panel. His pupils dilated instantly. The attribute panel said that it could save all deaths. Lee Ching-jun collapsed a little, yelling at the sky. Passers-by heard him shout and turned to look at him, treating him as a psychopath. They dialed 110 to call the police. The police asked him if he was having any difficulties in life. Lee Ching-jun shook his head, indicating that he was fine, but he was already broken inside. Then he looked at the gun on the police officer's waist, pulled it out of the cop's pocket the next moment, aimed at his throat, and gently pressed the trigger. When he was born again, he was at peace. He looked at the blue sky inside. To escape the curse of rebirth, he started trying to kill himself in various ways. He tried to blow himself up with an atomic bomb. He also tried to let the frozen warriors seal him. He even put on a space suit to let himself die miserably in space, and it didn't work. And each time, he came back to life. In order not to implicate others, he put his body and secretly transformed into a robot. He wanted to achieve immortality through mechanical means, stopping reincarnation. Because instead of binding others, Lee Ching-jun was more willing to sacrifice himself. But in the end, he still failed. He only needed to transform 50% of his body into a robot, and it would be determined by the system as death leading to rebirth. He tried everything. None of them worked. He shed tears of despair. As the number of rebirths accumulated, now he didn't need to think, able to anticipate the opponent's actions like an emotionless machine. He saved the world countless times. Kim Min-ju had some dissatisfaction with Lee Ching-jun acting alone, because before he had even shot, Lee Ching-jun unscrewed the enemy's head. But despite the words, Ji Min-ju is still very happy in her heart. After all, killing the enemy early can reduce unnecessary casualties. Lee Ching-jun looked at Ji Min-ju and Jing Xiaoman, left behind tears of guilt. Jing Xiaoman asked Lee Ching-jun doubtfully why he was crying. Lee Ching-jun did not answer after listening, he just silently pulled his gun out of his arms, pointed it at his head and gently pulled the trigger. After 1,000 cycles, Lee Ching-jun started to have some schizophrenia. So he confessed to his friends, made himself old, told his companions about the infinite reincarnation after death. Ji Min-ju was very shocked after hearing it, then he slowly stretched out his left hand, told Lee Ching-jun not to worry, so many people would help him find a way together. This must be solved, help him get through this difficult time. Lee Ching-jun nodded lightly, chose to trust his partner. But the result is not willing, no matter how many times they try, there is never a way that works. After tens of thousands of reincarnations, Lee Ching-jun's consciousness is close to collapse, and he was swimming down the street, bright and choking. Like a walking dead, walking aimlessly down the street. Plop, he suddenly fell to his knees, hit the ground tightly with his fists, wanting to vent his anger. Suddenly he let out a desperate growl into the sky, like a killer in hell, hopeless and terrifying. On the 10,000th return, he chose to give up on the side of justice, and the ending was to be hacked to death by Ji Min-ju again and again. He was killed with a long gun by Pu Jingxiu, or being stabbed to death by a vampire warrior. After experiencing death again and again, he was completely numb, choosing to stay at home and repeat the cycle of decadence. Until he was on TV, he saw Ji Min-ju defeat the Demon King again. When the picture was admired by thousands of people, his pupils dilated instantly, because he suddenly came up with an idea that could be a way to get him out of the cycle of reincarnation. He remembered when he chose his career, the goddess said that if she was killed by the Devil King, then his powers would be completely useless. At this time, a bold idea popped into his mind. According to the rules of another world, only a warrior can defeat the devil can also destroy the warriors. In addition to returning to the Demon King to kill himself, can other Demon Kings also destroy himself? And the more he thought about it, the more excited he got. Immediately pulling up the paper and pen on the ground, he has returned 10,000 times, he had to do it before he had a nervous breakdown. Create a Demon King to destroy yourself. And what he wanted to create, the devil's condition is despair and collapse, so he decided to train those runaway warriors, become their right-hand man, let them live longer, accompany them until the day they incarnate into Demon Kings, then die at their hands. The idea is beautiful but the reality is cruel. Every time those runaway warriors were about to become the devil, Ji Min-ju and his teammates would appear in front of him in time, and rescue him from the devil. At the 20,000 return, he finally realized he couldn't avoid Ji Min-ju, create the devil alone. And so he started doing it on demand, destroying the teammates who once fought side by side. Because if the number is not reduced, those fallen warriors will die in the process of becoming a Demon King. At the 25,000th regression, he killed his wife with his own hands, and his wife looked at him in dismay, not understanding why the person she loved the most betrayed her. Although he felt extremely guilty, he knew that if he didn't, he would always be trapped in reincarnation, sooner or later having a mental breakdown. At the 90,000 return, he finally trained those runaway warriors into the closest thing to the devil. Just when he thought he was about to finish, the result was that every time Ji Min-ju would appear in time at this moment. Lee Ching-jun wanted to stop him, in an almost pleading tone, begged Ji Min-ju to let him go. But Ji Min-ju shook her head, he had committed an unforgivable crime and should be wiped out. Then he grabbed Lee Ching-jun and threw him aside, going alone in the direction of the vampire warriors. Lee Ching-jun wanted to reach out and stop him, holding Ji Min-ju's legs and saying all the good things, begged Ji Min-ju to let him go. But Ji Min-ju did not listen to the persuasion, very firmly walking towards the vampire warrior, and cut the vampire's head with a concession knife, chopped down. Lee Ching-jun saw this scene, instantaneous pupil dilation, he was on the verge of collapse, scolding at Ji Min-ju. Finally, Lee Ching-jun discovered no matter what form he takes to shape the Demon King, all will be killed by Ji Min-ju, an absolute powerhouse, early kill. So he made up his mind to get rid of Jin Minju first, but it's just passable. He discovered that Jin Minju possessed incomparably terrifying strength. Even though he anticipated every possibility, due to the difference in strength between him and Jin Minju, it's too big. He had no way to defeat Jin Minju at all. Li Qingjun had experienced countless death cycles. He suddenly realized in fact he didn't need to destroy Jin Minju. He would directly train Jin Minju into a demon king. In order to make Jin Minju feel endless despair and sadness, he went to pick another world in Akin. At the time of the demon king, the car hit and killed Kim Myungju's mother. Although he felt a little guilty and could not bear it, he knew what he was doing couldn't be forgiven, but he had no choice now. He had to do it if he wanted to end the cycle. He had thought killing Kim Min-ju's mother would make him feel sad, so that he could become a demon king. But reality was the opposite of ideal. Jin Minju's actions completely shattered his illusions, because Jin Minju actually chose to commit suicide by jumping off a building. After Li Qingjun learned that his plan had been dashed, he immediately strangled himself with a rope, entering the cycle again. Since it was not enough to kill Kim Min-ju's mother, he went a little bit further. He drove away Kim Min-ju's friends. To students, parents spread various rumors about Jin Minju, becoming a vicious gangster. And not only that, Li Qingjun also bribed Jin's teacher, let the teacher frame Jin Minju, find a way to get the school to open him. Except for going to the police station to report the case, he spread rumors about some bad remarks about Jin Minju, making Akin feel like the whole world was against him, making him unable to feel any kindness in this world. In addition to that, Li Qingjun also advanced, got rid of Kim Min-ju's future companion, demoted capable people. But even so, Jin Minju still did not blacken. He would rather choose to end his life, not harm society. So Li Qingjun had to continue the reincarnation. Until the 100,000 reincarnation, Jin Minju made a completely different choice, completely blackened and degenerated into a demon king. Everywhere he went, forests were charred and barren, destroying the surrounding cities. But it didn't matter, because Li Qingjun's purpose had been achieved. He finally created a dagger that could destroy himself. But his wish had not yet been fulfilled. Creating a demon king who could kill him was just the first step in his plan. The second step in his plan was to cultivate a brave man who could destroy Jin Minju, otherwise the world would be destroyed. Therefore, he found Pu Jingxiu who was healing on the island, and he chose him. The reason for Pu Jingxiu was also very simple, because Pu Jingxiu among the scholars was, except for Jin Minju, the strongest hero, and also before Jin Minju became the demon king, the strongest opponent. And Pu Yongsu's sister was still killed by Kim Minju. He hated Jin Minju. Just raise him up. After his death, he would definitely be the first golden pearl, letting the world be bright again. Then Li Qingjun slowly stretched out his hand, a very big invitation. Park Yongsu joined the camp against Kim Minju. Park Yongsu hesitated after listening, not knowing what to do, and all of a sudden felt a tremendous amount of grief. It reminded him of a dusty past. He remembered when he was in the opinion of abusing the devil, at that time, he kept resurrecting the demon king, killing him again and again. The devil knelt down and begged for mercy, but got no response. So he picked up his sister slowly. Unexpectedly, Jin Minju appeared above the crowd at this time. He looked at the burden of constantly fleeing for his life. He showed a delicate smile. How dare the tiny human run away? Do you think you have any hope of survival? Then he raised the wave-retreating knife in his hand. He flew in the direction of the crowd. And now Park Jong-soo is holding his sister. He runs away with the noisy crowd. Unexpectedly, the next moment, he was bumped by a middle-aged man. The man knocked the doll out of his sister's hand. And it also happened to fall under the car. The girl pointed to the doll. She asked Park Young-soo to help her pick it up. Because that's her father's birthday present from many years ago. Pu Jingxiu thought for a moment. He finally decided to help his sister retrieve the rabbit doll. He asked his sister which car the doll fell under. The girl pointed to the white sedan on the far left. Pu Jingxiu patted his sister on the shoulder. He told her to stay here. He said he would be right back. Then Pu Jingxiu passed through the noisy crowd. He got under the car. He reached out and grabbed the doll. At the same time, Jin Minju had come to the center of the crowd. He raised the concession knife in his hand and slashed towards the crowd. The blades made a sound of breaking through the air. Thousands of people became his ghosts. The bodies of those people turned to crumbs. They floated over the city. And Park Young-soo escaped by hiding under the car. When he took the rabbit doll out of the car. When he was going to find his sister. The scene in front of him made his pupils instantly dilate. He lost his balance. There was death in the air. Peng Zhengxiu let out a hoarse roar. He crazily shouted his sister's name. As a result, among the many ruins, he saw his mother's body. He turned to look at the other side. He found his grandma's body lying there. He was struck with grief. Then he stepped on a sticky object under his feet. Plop. Park Young-soo slowly knelt down. He scraped open the surrounding rocks. He saw his sister's body. And he was absolutely devastated. Tears trickled down his cheeks. Now his whole family was dead. He was all alone. As he was grieving, Jin Mingzhu slowly walked towards him. You have beautiful eyes. In your eyes I saw the sadness and despair of losing everything. Like me, without dreams or souls. Are you the so-called warrior? You did all this, right? Jin Mingzhu nodded slowly, indicating that she was right. I did all of this. Pu Jingxiu picked up the wooden stick on the ground after listening. He slowly stood up. He swung the stick and smashed it at Jin Mingzhu. Damn warrior, I'm going to kill you. As a result, he was grabbed and lifted by Jin Mingzhu with one hand. Park Young-soo was almost out of breath as he was strangled. Yet his mouth was still repeating over and over again, I'm going to kill you. Jin Mingzhu smiled delicately after hearing it. Ridiculous human, what are you going to kill me with? After saying that, a knife pierced through Park Jingxiu's body. Park Young-soo shed tears of despair. He was heartbroken. Because the warrior had cost him everything. His loving parents. His kind grandma. And his little sister. All died because of the arrival of the warrior. And finally, even he himself died at the hands of the warrior. He was incredibly unwilling and desperate. As he thought he would die so incompetently, he was unexpectedly reborn. Reborn as the warrior he hated so much. He slowly opened his eyes. In front of him stood a girl wearing a hat, shouting his name. After realizing his situation, Park Jong-soo began to practice like crazy. He slept only after eating, all the rest of the time for training with his gun. Just one action, he could repeat thousands of times. Even if exhausted, he still refused to rest. The girl beside him couldn't stand it anymore. She gently patted Pu Jingxiu's shoulder, asking him to stop and rest. Pu Jingxiu grabbed the girl's hand and pushed her away. I didn't say stop. Don't touch me. At this moment, he was extremely unwilling and angry. He kept remembering his sister's death. He blamed himself. It was because he was too weak that his sister was killed. If only he had great power, his sister would not have died. So he used grief and unwillingness as driving force. Constantly fighting and killing. As Park Young-soo's fighting time increased, more and more goblins came to attack him. They moved boldly and confidently towards him. But they were all cut. He swung a stick and smashed it at him. With a loud bang, Pu Jingxiu collapsed limply to the ground. At this time, his eyes were dim and dying. Just as a warrior beside him went to support him, Pu Jingxiu stood up again. He regarded the goblin in front of him as Jin Mingzhu. With lightning speed, he killed the low-level goblins. In a flash, he appeared before the Goblin King. The spear in his hand kept stabbing at the Goblin King. It pierced the head of the Goblin King coldly. At this moment, Pu Jingxiu had killed with red eyes. He used the spear in his hand, running through the corpses of goblins around. When all the goblins were destroyed, Gu Jingxiu finally put down the spear. He was just about to sit and rest, but the corpse of a goblin beside him appeared as his sister. His sister begged him not to stop, begged him to save her, said she didn't want to die. The next moment, Gu Jingxiu slumped on the ground, hugged his head and cried bitterly. His behavior at that moment was less of a brave man and more of an avenger. The girl asked Pu Jingxiu to take off his bandage so she could heal him. But the moment the bandage was removed, she was dumbfounded. Because at that moment, Peng Zhengxiu's back was densely packed with scars. She gently touched his back with her hand. Are you not tired of working so hard every day? So many wounds on your back. How sad your family would be to see it. Pu Jingxiu sighed. My family is all dead. Even if you don't have a family, you can't torture your body like this. Pu Jingxiu picked up the spear in his hand and started polishing it. Because I'm going back to kill someone with my own hands. I can only become stronger. To defeat him. I'm going to be stronger than that guy. I'll cut off his limbs with my own hands and immobilize him. Then hang him in a ventilated place. Cut off his flesh bit by bit. Wait until the wound heals and cut again. Then take the flesh that was cut and feed it back to him, keeping him alive. Let him live and die. The girl was stunned when she heard it. She couldn't believe the brave man who saved her world was so dark and twisted inside. After hundreds of days of training, Pu Jingxiu finally arrived at the Demon King's lair. He knocked the Demon King down easily. But he didn't plan to kill him just like that. He wanted to use the Demon King as practice, imagining him as Jin Minju. So he took out the healing heart and resurrected the Demon King. The Demon King felt a steady influx of energy. His whole body felt joyful. He thought the human in front of him wanted to join him. Unexpectedly, only a few seconds later, Pu Jingxiu stabbed him with a spear again. The Demon King's eyes widened in disbelief. He didn't understand what this man was doing. Until he was killed countless times, the Demon King trembled, begging Pu Jingxiu to let him go. But even when he shouted until his throat broke, Pu Jingxiu had no intention of stopping. In the end, the girl hugged him from behind, ending the slaughter. After that, Pu Jingxiu left with a spear in hand. He was excited. Because he could finally avenge his parents. Park Jong-soo soon came to the city where Jin Minju was. This city was purgatory on earth. Because the people here were frantically slaughtered by Jin Minju. Forests were charred wherever she passed. No grass grew. When Jin Minju admired her destruction with satisfaction, a blue spear suddenly flew at her. The giant-faced woman immediately blocked in front of Jin Minju. She gathered all her magic into her palm and caught Pu Jingxiu's attack with her bare hand. The price was a broken finger. Park Young-soo gasped for breath. He had finally waited for this day. He could finally avenge his dead loved ones. Jin Minju turned around and gave him a disdainful look. So it's you. I can't believe you're still alive. Park Young-soo looked at the killer of his family up close, his eyes full of blood. It was because of this person that he became an orphan overnight. He killed his family and friends. He destroyed the city where he lived. He left him homeless. And now, this man greeted him calmly. After the smoke clears. Park Young-soo's arm has been cut off by Kim Min-ju. Park Young-soo lost all his strength in an instant. Falling rapidly from the sky towards the ground. Now Jin Min-ju's eyes showed blood-red blood. Do you know why you lost? Because your sadness is not enough. Park Young-soo, who was lying on the ground and dying. After hearing Jin Min-ju's words. Like he's hyped up. Holding up the ground with difficulty. Stand up again. You say my sadness is not enough. My family died. My city was razed to the ground. So how do you say you can be considered sad? Random. Peng Zhengxiu turned into a meteor towards Jin Minju. Shitsu faces Peng Zhengxiu's attack. Jin Minju stood there unhurriedly. Escaped very easily. The plane waved its fist towards Pu Zhengxiu's chest. Opera, I said you are not pitiful enough. You still have a chance at redemption. And I had nothing left. Pu Jingxiu was beaten and spat out a large mouthful of blood. The plain Jin Minju waved her fist again. Peng Zhengxiu flew out. Pu Jingxiu collapsed limply to the ground. At this moment, his life breath is incomparably weak. What terrible things have people done to you? To make you so angry? Jin Minju did not answer this question. Instead, he grabbed Pu Jingxiu's head. He kept swinging his fists towards Pu Jingxiu. At this moment, Pu Jingxiu was beaten and covered in blood. You don't need to know about my past. Because you're going to die soon. Just as the elf pig is ready to give Pu Jingxiu the final blow. When you get rid of him completely. A bullet. But shot at Jin Minju's head. Kim Minju dodged the bullet sideways. He looked back. Found shooting. It was a girl around 18 who shot herself. Let him go, you devil. He is our last hope. After listening to Jin Minju, slowly let go of the hand that grabbed Park Jung-seo. Walked towards the girl without hesitation. Just as he was about to take this hinted girl. When to kill. A young man waving a magic wand. The woman stood in front of the girl. You know this time. I'm with you, the devil. How uncomfortable is it? The girl's name was Marilyn. Like Park Young-soo, she just became a warrior not long ago. When she defeated the devil and returned to her original world. Her city has been. Jin Minju has been occupied. And now there are only two paths in front of her. One is the fight for justice. Bet your luck. I also want to stop Jin Minju from destroying the world. And the other way is to join the gang of golden collar beads. Focus on abuse. But he didn't choose either of the two options. Because he doesn't want to be the devil and destroy the world. I don't want to. The so-called justice sacrifices its life. So he chose to escape. Disguise and blend in with the fleeing refugees. Protect your family at a critical time. Until one day the police found him. The police used clues about the disappearance of Marilyn for a year. It is concluded that he is a brave man who has just returned from the righteous world. Because all the brave. They have a common thread. It will inexplicably disappear out of thin air for a year. Marilyn tried to argue. He didn't want to admit his identity as a brave man. As a result, the man with glasses suddenly fell from his arms. Pulled out a black pistol. Airplane. He pulled the trigger. Just as the bullet was about to hit Marilyn. Marilyn immediately became Sailor Moon. Stopped the bullet. The man with glasses asked suspiciously. Why did he have to blend in with the crowd as a brave man? Disguise as a refugee. Ma Yilin often sighed. I had to express my concerns. It turns out that there are obvious differences in the strength of the warriors. The stronger the devil the warrior defeats. Then the corresponding warrior strength will be stronger. In other words, the strength of the demon king can. Indirect proof of the strength of the brave. And the demon king whom Jin Minju defeated. Is the strongest of all the brave. That is to say. He fought against Kim Minju. No chance at all. So he chose to escape. Because he knew it was doomed to be a losing battle. Even if the world you live in becomes purgatory on earth. Are you indifferent too? How is that possible? My mom was sick on the run. My sister kept making trouble because she was separated from her friends. I am incomparable. I long for peace to return to the world. But I don't want to die. If I die, who can protect my family in this war? So please forgive my selfishness. If I had one that didn't need you to die. That we can preserve this world. Do you do it or not? Mylene's eyes widened when she heard that. Express that as long as you have the ability to do it. Do your best. Therefore, he joined the camp of Jin Lingzhu as an undercover agent. Strike at a critical moment. Create opportunities for those who are brave enough to save the world. And now Park Young-soo is lying on the ground, dying. So he decided to take action. Snatch Park Young-soo back from Yama. Random. He condensed all his magic into the palm of his hand. Towards gold. Pearl Opera Golden Pearl is hit by magic. Can't help but step back a bit. Marilyn has no love for war. He grabbed Park Young-soo's collar. Take Park Young-soo and fly into the air. What he needs to do now. It's not about defeating Jin Minju. Instead, find a way to get out of here with Park Young-soo. Because of Park Young-soo. Is the only one who can defeat Jin Minju now. Hope other warriors see this. Immediately chase after Ma Yilin. Just when the masked woman was about to catch up with Ma Yilin. A soldier suddenly jumped off the balcony. He wanted to let Park Young-soo escape from here smoothly. Reach out and grab the masked woman. Then he took the grenade from his arms. Hand immediately. He dragged the mask at the cost of shredding his body. The muscle warrior was stunned when he saw this scene. Did these guys take the wrong medicine? So crazy. He doesn't understand. People who were afraid before. How could he become so brave overnight? And just as he was thinking about it, a driver hit him with a truck. Muscle warriors in order to face the situation at hand. I had to give up chasing Pu Jingxiu. Hit the truck with a hard fist. With a loud bang. The truck was smashed to pieces by him. But the driver inside laughed. He procrastinated for more time to help Pu Jingxiu. Without hesitation, he lit the grenade in his hand. With a loud bang. The truck driver suddenly vanished into nothingness. Floating in the air. But he created a precious escape for Park Jong-soo. Opportunity. The pursuit of the two warriors was suddenly missing behind him. Mylene's pressure suddenly decreased a lot. But the crisis did not end there. The vampire warriors behind him are still chasing after him. The vampire warrior pointed a dagger at his wrist. Song next moment. There was a big lump of blood gushing from the wrist. He gathers all the blood in his hands. Transformed into a bow and arrow towards Peng Zhengxiu. The dense saber teeth swarmed in like a tide. Mylene sees that the situation is not good. Instantly accelerated the speed of escape. He looked at the ground. Discover the only way for him to escape. Blocked by Jin Minju. Damn, all routes are blocked. Where should I flee to? Just when he was desperate. A police officer risked his life. Waving the glow stick in his hand. Guiding the way for Marilyn. Marilyn saw this. Immediately fly in the direction of the building. But he doesn't know. His move will cause tens of thousands of people to be buried in his place. Because he was flown to a refugee camp. In order to allow Pu Jingxiu to escape successfully, the government decided to lift the elevator. As an escape hatch for the brave. After Pu Jingxiu took the elevator and left. Cut off the power immediately. The move immediately sparked public outrage. They don't understand. Why are there tens of thousands of people in refugee camps? To be buried with a brave man. But in the end, under the strong suppression of the government, they still chose to compromise. Now Ma Yilin takes Park Jong-soo towards the refugee concentration camp. Flying away also brought disaster. After Marilyn left, hundreds of thousands of people in refugee camps were massacred without mercy. The corpse is like purgatory on earth. But they are for Park Yong-soo. You've gained 5 minutes of valuable time. Make Ma Yilin successfully escape with Pu Jingxiu. They came to an uninhabited desert island. At this moment, Pu Jingxiu was dying and collapsed to the ground. Marilyn was panting heavily from the side. Others are getting tired. Just then, a girl with antlers walked towards them slowly. The antler girl carried Park Yong-soo. Park Yong-soo slowly opened his eyes. I don't understand this girl in front of me. Why save yourself? Obviously he has lost. He made the girl give up on herself. Killed everyone because of himself. All those close to him. All because he died. The antler girl slapped him hard after hearing it. Don't say such depressing words. You've done your best. It's not your fault those people died. You must cheer up. This is worthy of those who are willing to sacrifice for you. Park Yong-soo nodded. Show that you will definitely strive to become stronger. Strive for one day. Defeat the dead and take revenge. The antler girl smiled with relief after hearing it. After 2 months, Park Yong-soo's injuries were completely healed. The antler girl asked him how his new arm felt. Gu Jingxiu expressed great satisfaction. It feels better than the previous arm. Although his body has recovered now. But in the battle with Jin Mingju, the weapon is gone. Now he doesn't even have a handy weapon. What to fight against Jin Mingju? The antler girl told him not to worry. He has contacted the government. The weapons of previous generations of gun warriors. Take it all back. Gu Jingxiu asked him what he should do now. You don't have to do anything. You just need to rest quietly on the island. It's fine. It won't be long. Someone brought the sacred relics of the immortals. And Park Young-soo. The reason why the years are quiet on the island. And that's all because somebody's carrying a load in front of them. And Marilyn is carrying the weight in front of her. The person responsible for transporting this sacred relic. He was transporting the relics back to the island. I have a premonition that a bad battle is coming soon. So he took out his cell phone and called his mother. After explaining everything, he was relieved. Just then, the navigation on the ship suddenly discovered. An unknown object is approaching. The commander was very worried when he saw this scene. Therefore, he immediately told Ma Yilin about it. Ma Yilin hung up the phone immediately after learning. Pick up the weapon in your hand. Prepare to face an unknown enemy. And this time, vampire warriors are traveling at 8 kilometers per second. Heading towards Maylene. He saw the ship carrying the relics. With a raging smile. Then he mobilized the blood all over his body. Duck will turn into a ball of light. Towards Marilyn Opera. Ma Yilin immediately summoned Cat Karen. Cat Karen often takes a breath. Transform into a battle state of a muscular cat. Following the attack of the vampire warriors. Vampire warriors see this scene. Instantaneous pupil dilation. If there are too many people standing and you want to do whatever you want. I'm sorry about that. Your wishful thinking is wrong. Said to take him off his sunglasses. Divided into the state of the blood demon. Then he summoned dozens of hell three-headed groups. The cat Karen Magpie. And he was at war with Maylene. Although Ma Yilin is a little laborious. But he immediately came up with a strategy. He used all his magic. All gathered in the palm of your hand. Hit the ground hard. To control the position of the vampire warriors. Immediately after that, the lava cannonball will be launched. Countless fast. Suck the syrup from the candy bar towards the vampire warrior. Vampire warriors are covered in syrup. The vampire warrior patted the dust on his body. How capable do you think you are? And that's it. Unexpectedly, his pupils dilated in an instant. Because he realized he couldn't move. Physical caramellosis. It cools down very rapidly. Ma Yilin immediately jumped into the air when she saw this. Wave the magic wand in your hand. Hit the vampire warrior. Vampire warriors as little blood beads. Disappear into the air. Marilyn looked at the deep pit under her feet. And he let out a big sigh. Just when he thought it was over. The blood at his feet. But at a speed visible, because he found out that the vampire warrior was right. He is indeed the most useless of all the warriors. His mother lay dying in the hospital bed. He can only stand by the side like his sister. Can't do anything. When Kim Min-ju was fighting with other warriors. He can only hide and cry quietly. Because he is too weak. No one can help him and he never gets attention. It is called the weakest warrior, but he didn't want to die. Still used by the weakest warrior. The name ridicules. So he decided to fight this time. Even if you risk your life. Then Ma Yilin clenched her fists. Shed tears of pain. Shout to the sky and listen to my call. Cat Karen, I need you, I haven't given up yet. The next moment, Karen grew huge arms. With a loud bang of the wind. Vampire warriors are like bereaved dogs. Was smashed into the ground. Ma Yilin also broke free at this moment. He looked at the destroyed wand on the ground. A bold idea was born in my mind. The vampire warrior slowly got up from the ground. You don't even have a transformation tool. What to fight? But as the smoke dissipated. A familiar figure. And slowly walked towards him. The vampire warrior rubbed his eyes in disbelief. After seeing the person coming. I was taken aback by the scene in front of me. Because it's coming towards him now. It is the transformed Ma Yilin. He took the pieces of the magic wand. Put it in your own hands. Didn't you say? I can only fight with weapons. Weak warrior. Then I'll show you today. I can fight without weapons. The vampire warrior slowly stood up. Scolding crazy woman. Mylin smiled a series of smiles. Then I'll show you. The power of a mad woman after going crazy. Non. The guitar is like a shooting star towards the vampire warrior opera. He will. All the magic of the whole body is condensed in the palm of the hand. With the vampire warriors. Vampire warriors want to open the gap. Occupy Jikong fist launches attack. Unexpectedly, the next moment. But was entangled in her ankle by Mylene's tentacles. With the heartbreaking roar of Ma Yilin. The vampire warrior was forcibly dragged down. Hit the ground hard. And he was desperate. He was actually called the weakest warrior Ma Yilin. Beaten. And it's hard to say for Ma Yilin at this time. He should insert the power of the crystal directly into the blood vessel. His body can't take it anymore. He must get rid of the vampire warriors as soon as possible. Therefore, he concentrated all his strength in his palm. Next moment. Soaring beams of light swept towards the vampire warriors. Just when the beam of light is about to hit the vampire warrior. Vampire warrior from his arms. Pulled out a drop of blood in a bottle. He opened the bottle. Poured blood into his body. Next moment. Terrifying magic erupted around him. Because he didn't drip ordinary blood. But with the lives of millions of people. Condensed plasma. He originally planned to destroy the world. Relying on this drop of blood to deal with Jingmingzhu and the others. But now he can't wait for that day. Now a new demon king is born. Stupid human. Let you see. Is this seat the power after becoming the demon king? Then he summoned countless blood swords. The next moment, the blood sword was like rain. Ingesting densely towards Ma Yilin. Marilyn was taken aback by the scene in front of her. Now he has run out of oil. Can't take it at all. Such a fierce attack. But in order to protect the world. Finally decided to burn life. Defend this attack. With a loud bang. Huge beams of light. Break through Mylene's veins. His bones are under the influence of this terrifying energy. It starts to break down. But he still wouldn't give up. Been struggling to hold on. Until the body is overdrawn. He slowly closed his eyes. Falling backwards uncontrollably. Just when the bloody sword in the sky was about to hit him. A pair of big hands suddenly caught him from behind. And this person is the returned warrior Li Ch. The holy foreign body sank to the bottom of the sea together. Park Young-soo was incomparably angry after hearing this. He especially wanted to hammer Li Qingjuan's head. Then he rushed towards Li Qingjun. The antler girl saw this and realized that something was wrong. She wanted to stop but was thrown over the shoulder by Pu Jingxiu. The antler girl immediately unleashed magic upon seeing this, making the arm he shaped for Pu Jingxiu go out of control. Ma Yilin on the steamer couldn't stand it anymore. He jumped up in the air and kicked Pu Jingxiu to the ground. Stop making trouble. Although I don't know why that guy Li Qingjun suddenly helped us, if you treat him as an enemy, we're going to lose. Only by cooperating with him can we have a chance to defeat Jingmingzhu. Pu Jingxiu let out a desperate roar. Why are you doing this to me? Why should I watch my father's murderer indifferently? Let me cooperate with my father's murderer against my conscience. You don't feel it. You can never understand this sadness. Li Qingjuan's eyes were a little moist when he saw this scene. Only then did he realize he had destroyed so many people's planes. He jumped off the ship. Stop crying, rebel warrior. You've got to pull yourself together. Despite what has happened in front of us, even though you are extremely reluctant, now we can save the world. Just you. If even you fall, then the world will come to an end. So please cheer up. Then Li Qingjun slowly stretched out his hand. I will train you in the coming days to make you stronger. If you can't accept it, I'm going to kill you. Ma Yilin, who was by the side, couldn't watch it anymore. You said you wanted to save the world, now you say you want to train him. Which of your words is true? Li Qingjun often sighed. When this is over, I'll make it clear to you. Now I don't want to explain. Mylin became a little anxious after hearing this. Then at least briefly summarize, this will give us the motivation to fight. Li Qingjun showed a delicate smile after listening. He pulled a dark object from his arms. You want motivation, right? Certainly. This is the button to detonate the leftover laundry. If you don't cooperate obediently, I will press this button and detonate the sacred clothing on board. Mylin froze in place after hearing this. The antler girl patted Gu Jingxiu's shoulder. I know we're being used by him, but what can be done? As long as that guy wants to, he can not only make the sacred clothing sink to the bottom of the sea, but he can also take our lives at any time. So, the best thing to do now is to let him train you. As long as you become stronger, it doesn't matter if he ends up using us. After saying that, the antler girl took Park Jingxiu's arm and reconnected it. Gu Jingxiu clenched his fists after hearing this. Now he figured it out. His only enemy is Kim Mingju. Any way to defeat the Golden Pearl, he will do his best without hesitation. Li Qingjun, seeing this scene, showed a relieved smile. This guy finally figured it out. And he raised his hand. The first test is now officially underway. Without fighting back, kill him 100 times with your bare hands. Gu Jingxiu jumped up the moment after listening. Then you can count this as the first time. Then he clenched his fists again for the second time. After killing Li Qingjun thousands of times, Li Sungjun attacked all the weaknesses of Park Yong-su and told him the flaws. Under the guidance of Li Qingjun, today's Park Jong-su could handle the Golden Pearl before becoming the Devil King without any problem at all. But now the Golden Pearl has become the Devil, more powerful than ever before, more than 1 degree higher. In other words, the opponent he is currently facing is not human at all. If only by the way you fight with people, trying to deal with Jin Minju is obviously very unwise. Pu Jingxiu frowned after hearing this. What attack method did Jin Minju use just now? Why can't I see his punching movements at all, but he could explode with such terrifying destructive power? Li Qingjun waved his hand to show that he didn't know either. After all, he had never seen Kim Minju who became the Demon Queen with his own eyes. You said you could help me defeat Kim Minju, is this bragging? Li Qingjun shook his head. Don't worry. Since you dare to train Jin Minju into a Demon King, that means I have a way to destroy him. As soon as you finish training, I will immediately go to see Jin Minju. At that time, I'm going to lose at least one of his arms. And the whole process of fighting with Jin Minju, I'll broadcast it to you. You just have to understand it, just open the secret of his ability. Pu Jingxiu was a little shocked when he heard that. You're going to die. Aren't you immortal? If ordinary people kill me, I will be resurrected indefinitely, that's right. But if killed by the devil, then I will truly die. So we have to be prepared. Late at night, the antler girl found Li Qingjun. She stared straight at him. Were we ever partners? Li Qingjun froze in place after hearing it. He seemed to have thought of something sad and wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes. You guessed right. We used to be partners who fought side by side. What about Kim Minju? Was he once our comrade in arms? Li Qingjun was left with tears of pain after listening. I don't want to talk about this anymore. If you still consider me a friend, please give this book to Jing Xiaoman. And the next day, Li Qingjun arranged a second test for Pu Jingxiu. This test was very difficult. He needed Pu Jiangsu to face thousands of attacks. Pu Jingxiu was often injured during training. In order to relieve Pu Jingxiu's pain, whenever Pu Jingxiu was injured, Li Qingjun would shoot himself. After being reborn, he told him the mistakes Pu Jingxiu made before. At this moment, Pu Jingxiu was panting heavily, exhausted. Li Qingjun saw this scene, showing a series of smiles. Training this way, it won't be long before Pu Jingxiu can become a complete monster. His growth speed completely exceeded his expectations. So that's it. He is literally a fighting god born for war. The yellow-haired girl on the side was a little worried. What are you going to do now? We don't have the way to train him in our hands anymore. Li Qingjun fell into deep thought after listening to it. Before fighting Kim Minju, I hope Pu Jingxiu can have an opponent who can fight. Li Qingjun made a call to the headquarters of H country. It was a bald man who answered the phone. He looked very serious, his eyes fixed on the iron-fisted warrior in front of the screen. I'm sure you're having a headache right now. You should have noticed it too. Facing a formidable opponent like the warriors, your current weapons can't kill him at all. If you want me to assist you, please get me a jet right away. I will bring the rebel warriors to your aid. Although the bald man didn't know why Li Qingjun suddenly changed his mind, he had no better way now, so he decided to live and die and let Li Qingjun try it. After that, Li Sungjun and Park Yongsu sat in front of the helicopter heading towards the city of the Iron Fist. After so many days of training, now it's finally time to test the results. You can only use a spear in this battle. No other weapons are allowed. Pu Jingxiu had some doubts after listening. Aren't you going to tell me how to use the holy relics? Li Qingjun shook his head. Now is not the time. Sacred relics are conscious. If you want to use them, you have to get their approval first. That is to say, you have to have enough strength first to have a chance to gain their approval. 2.5 hours later, a helicopter arrived in the middle of the city. Then it threw down a rope ladder. Pu Jingxiu climbed down the ladder. After the iron-fisted warrior saw Pu Jingxiu, he showed a series of smiles. The first time in the refuge to see the warrior with long hair, do you think you can win? Stop struggling needlessly. Give up your resistance. You can't save anyone. Pu Jingxiu froze in place after listening. You are right. I really can't save anyone. So every operation always ends in failure. But I'm not trying to save anybody this time. I just want you to die. After saying that, he quickly waved the long spear in his hand, charging towards the Iron Fist at breakneck speed. The iron-fisted warrior saw Pu Jingxiu rushing towards him and became excited. Let the horse come. Ridiculous warrior, I trample you to death as easy as trampling an ant to death. Then Pu Jingxiu brandished a long spear, heading towards the iron-fisted warrior. But when the Iron Fist saw it, he didn't dodge. He stood still. With a loud bang, Peng Zhengxiu's long spear struck the iron-fisted warrior's muscles and bounced off. Seeing this, the iron-fisted warrior showed a look of disdain. Practice too much.